This storm is what we expected. Thank you, meteorologist. That's the good news and the bad news. It is an interstate stopping, tree snapping, foot after foot in the foothills March super soaker of a snowstorm. And it's not over yet. Not for hours, at least. As darkness falls, roads will take an icier turn, and the snow still falling will find it easier to pile up. Pile on top of everything that's already turned evergreen, white, and silverthorn into a parking lot. Tonight on Next, we're in the Jeffco foothills, along the newly reopened I-70, in neighborhoods hoping for power before nighttime, and out at an unusually operational airport. Given the snow we've seen, we're digging into why Colorado allows unprepared truckers to shut down our interstates for hours, and looking ahead to whether a snowstorm becomes a slush show, becomes a flood risk. And asking once more, who is taking all of the bananas? All that on a special hour-long edition of Next. All right, let's get cozy. Let's recharge a bit together, as this area's biggest snowstorm in years moves into its second night of action. The snow totals and Coloradans' great attitudes about what March can throw at us have both been pretty impressive. The National Weather Service says nearly a foot fell in southwest Boulder. That is medium dog height at Lawrence Place. On to the next. More than 30 inches in the foothills of Jefferson County, about toddler height in Indian Hills, according to Michael. The folks in Evergreen, they are up to their butts in snow, and that is not a rude thing to say. That is an actual physical measurement of what they have seen. Clear Creek County is the only county under a state of emergency right now, but that's where people got stuck on I-70 overnight. First responders there have been at this for more than 24 hours, and folks are exhausted. So the state of emergency is partially a plea for people to stay home and also a way to open up state resources and funding. So it's still coming down right now in Denver, up to a foot in some parts of the pretty city, with more to come tonight, Kathy.
Beautiful out here. It is so beautiful out here. Yeah, our little snow stake out here, our little Snowy the Snowman, showing 8 to 9 inches of snow, and that storm is still packing quite a punch. Center of circulation is off to the south and west of us, so a lot of water coming into the state tonight. We remain under a winter storm warning through 6 a.m. on Friday. An additional 3 to 6 inches of snow possible on top of what you've already seen. But the big headline, the snow will end early tomorrow morning. We might actually get some sunshine on a Friday afternoon. But look at these totals. 45 inches in Aspen Springs, 31 in Genesee, 27 inches in Evergreen. And how about the metro area totals? Denver at 9 inches. The Highlands Ranch area closing in on 2 feet. Littleton with over a foot, and Golden with 16 inches of snow. And you really can't see anything out there. Travel, as you know, is not advised. We've had road closures all afternoon. And yay, kids, another snow day tomorrow. Temperatures in the low 30s now, but those numbers will drop into the 20s. So all of this water coming in is going to freeze tonight. And I-25, which was slushy and wet, will become like a skating rink out there tonight. And we have additional accumulation on top of the ice, so it is going to be really hazardous to travel between now and about 6 a.m. Avoid it if you can. Additional accumulation expected, so the winter storm warning goes out through tomorrow morning, and the foothills could pick up another foot of snow on top of the 2 to 3 feet already reported. So the heavy snow continues. The bands come in from the east right up against the foothills. But look, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, some drier air works in, and by the afternoon, maybe, just maybe, a little bit of sunshine. Oh, but the accumulation, yep, we're adding to the totals that you already have. Keep the weather pictures and storm reports coming. I'll have more on the timing of the next round of snow coming up.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Listen, it's not a competition, except it's a competition, right? And if you're at 6,000 feet or above in the foothills, you won this storm. Our mustachioed mountain meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen planted his yardstick up in Aspen Park, thinking that was going to be the place to be. And Corey, there have been some pretty bonkers totals reported from that area, but you're sure that they've got at least 2 feet.
At least 2 feet. You know, we measured 2 feet right here just recently, and the 2-foot totals are very widespread. That's one of the very impressive things about this. And we have a lot of totals now getting up to the 36 and 45 inch range. So it will be a 2 to 4 inch a 2 to 4 foot snowstorm up here in the foothills. And here's your visual. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with what's gone on out here today. We watched this snow. You can see these vehicles back here, just piles and piles of snow everywhere you look. So the visuals are there. As soon as the sun came up, it was so impressive to see this area just completely covered in snow. And from I'm basically calling it the Pi 2.0 storm right now, because if you remember, exactly 3 years ago on Pi Day 2021, we got another big storm that this one is actually going to end up eclipsing that in a lot of ways. And so that was Pi Day storm. This, I think, is Pi Day 2.0. And I know that, our friends at Denver International Airport, you might have seen the explainer from Chris Bianchi talking about the Barrier Jet. Awesome explainer about the science behind why DIA got robbed. I'm hanging out here with I guess I'll call this Brownsifer, because my theory about why DIA got robbed in part of that area is a little bit less scientific, and it has to do with aliens and curses at DIA. And I think Blucifer might be at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Our guy out here at the Arrowhead Manor, this guy came through for us. I'm so impressed with this storm. We had such a great time out here, and like we just said, there's still more on the way.
2 to 4 feet of snow for the man in the mountains with a meteorology degree and the mustache, and for Blucifer's less evil-looking cousin. Corey, thank you for your work all last night and through the day today. I-70 sat closed from the metro area to Silverthorne for most of the day as people got stuck overnight, then had to be evacuated. Lauren Robinson headed up the hill when I-70 reopened around 4 o'clock today into the unknown. And you're now in Genesee. What have you seen?
Yes, that's right. I'm here in Genesee. It does look like Into the Unknown from Frozen. And Corey Runhagen was talking about the Pi Day storm a couple years ago. Let's go ahead and call this Pi Day squared, right? He said Pi Day 2.0. That's good as well. Now, I'm here in Genesee, which is one of the areas that's had the highest snow totals reported so far. Almost 37 inches of snow have been reported in Genesee. That's over 3 feet of snow here. And as you can see, it's still falling pretty heavily. Another thing we're going to watch out for all around the state with the heavy snow is these trees. There's a lot of areas have been seeing those downed branches. You can see these branches behind me are being weighed pretty significantly by all of this snowfall, and it's just going to continue to pile up. So we want to make sure you're moving your car out from under any downed trees or trees that are sagging under snow. You also want to make sure that you're just aware of any power lines, any things like that that could go wrong in your neighborhood or in front of your house. Now, I say in front of your house because this is a day we've been saying stay home if you can, maybe build a few snowmen. That's really about it. Now, I am again here in Genesee where the snow is continuing to fall. I've mentioned we've had almost 37 inches reported so far. That's going to continue to pile up as we go through the rest of the evening. This is one of the heaviest hit areas of the foothills, so we'll be here monitoring the conditions for you through the rest of the night. Kyle?
All right, Lauren Robinson, would love to chat, but you got a longer delay than DIA, so I'm just going to thank you, and we'll catch up later.
Our next question comes from Steven, curious about what happens when it starts to warm up and all that snow at higher elevations begins to melt. Should we be prepared for creeks and rivers to flood in the coming days and weeks?
Going to bring in meteorologist Chris Bianchi for this one. So we've been talking all day about the amount of moisture in this storm. So it's a natural question we've gotten from Stephen and some other next viewers about, is that moisture an eventual flood risk for us?
So really good news on that. Honestly, no is the quick answer. And the reason being is that this is kind of snowpack. It'll melt off slowly. If this were to be maybe double the amount of liquid and this were to melt off kind of snap, then we're talking about flood issues. This is not going to be anywhere close to flood issues. Another thing to keep in mind, the peak for Colorado snowpack is not for another 3 weeks. So this is just adding to the snowpack. And really, overall, Kyle, this is excellent news for us because snowpack is only around average, our season-to-date average. So we're helping build that. And I would also say in the Front Range Mountains in particular, we've been a little kind of lagging in terms of that snowpack. So honestly, this is really good news.
That's fantastic. All right, we have more questions coming. We're going to touch base with you in just a bit. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, thank you very much. So we know that every power outage is a personal power outage for the people experiencing it, the ones in the dark, but this storm really has truly created personal power outages. You got hundreds of little ones affecting one home here, 3 homes there. All total, though, it's more than 25,000 people without power, according to Xcel. The hundreds of Xcel workers and contractors who have been out in the elements have already restored power to more than 40,000 customers today. Xcel is warning folks that the online outage map that we always refer to it's been over-reporting the number of small outages on the Front Range today. Our Evan Krugel is along after talking with the folks at Xcel, and Evan, clearly the lights aren't on for everybody, and Xcel's about to figure out whether they want to call it a night for safety reasons, meaning folks without power need to find someplace warm.
Yeah, Kyle, this is the scene in tens of thousands of homes here on the west side of town tonight where candles and flashlights are all we have as we try to figure out if the food in our fridge is still safe to eat. Xcel says those outages here started at about 2 o'clock this morning. As you mentioned, still tens of thousands of people without power, and Xcel soon will be making a call on whether to keep those extra crews out. So here's the issue. This is what we've been seeing across this area this afternoon. You can see that heavy snow weighing down power lines, even breaking branches that are landing on power lines. As of last check, Xcel says about 39,000 homes are still without power. The majority, as you mentioned, to the west of Denver in cities like Wheat Ridge, Littleton, as well as Boulder County, and of course up in the foothills. In Jefferson County, as I mentioned, those outages started at 2 o'clock. There is no estimated time for power to be restored. And a lot of folks here say they were not expecting such a lengthy outage to happen so early and say it's certainly an inconvenience.
We'll just be patient and the Xcel do their job and get us back going. Usually with the freezer, it'll stay pretty, the ice in there, it'll stay pretty cold for a while. And so I think we'll be okay as long as it doesn't go into tomorrow.
And that is a big concern for folks here tonight. Xcel says they've got over 300 crews out working to restore power right now. But here's the catch. When the sun sets in about an hour, they are going to make a decision on whether to pull back those crews due to safety concerns. That will all depend on what the weather looks like outside here in about an hour. I can tell you a lot of people here in Jefferson County already heading to friends' homes, to relatives' homes tonight. Certainly unsure if that power will come back on tomorrow morning. And of course, then the fun begins. We get to go in here and start throwing everything out. Kyle, I think that half bottle of rosé, that'll still be good at least, right?
Oh, no, that'll keep for sure. That will keep. Whatever you do, do not throw out that rosé. Evan Krugel telling us a campfire-style story that nobody wanted to hear. The hope was that everybody would have their power back tonight, but we appreciate that update. So we can be mad about the snow, but the State Patrol says it was truck drivers being irresponsible that shut down I-70. A look at why Colorado cannot seem to stop this persistent problem. Next. When I-70 is closed, Colorado suffers, both in terms of human frustration, but also financial impact. CDOT has said that for every hour that commerce can't flow on I-70, every hour that people can't drive to the high country to spend their money, that costs our state's economy $2 million. So the closure of I-70 from yesterday into today, about 17 to 23 hours, depending on how you measure it, that cost Colorado $34 to $46 million. So that's money that's flowing along with traffic now as I-70 is back open to passenger traffic only tonight. Commercial vehicles like the ones that caused last night's shutdown have been ordered to stay off the interstate until tomorrow at noon. Our Chris Vanderveen's been looking into last night's mess on I-70 in Clear Creek and Jefferson counties. And Chris, I thought that CDOT and CSP were unusually clear today about blaming truck drivers for that, and not all truck drivers, but the ones who choose not to follow the law.
Kyle, you heard that really early on. A few dozen semis, at least 30 according to CDOT, which really didn't have that system with them. Another story you've probably heard before in all this, State Patrol says almost every jam that happened overnight and this morning was due to those semis. This is not to say all semis, as you say. Clearly, most of them follow the rules, but clearly this was a problem once again. It all led to some pretty apocalyptic views from the CDOT cameras this morning. Big hills, slow-moving traffic, and icy snow-packed roads can absolutely lead to some big problems for the big rigs. This afternoon, jumped on a Zoom call with State Senator Dylan Roberts, who was also tired of this problem. He told me out-of-state drivers, not used to Colorado's wild weather swings, seem to be at fault once again.
It seems to be that no matter how we strengthen the law at the legislature, these truckers who come from out of state are not abiding by state law. They're not carrying chains. They're not putting chains on during inclement weather. And they're causing all these problems that we've been trying to prevent for years.
So there's some legislation swimming about the Capitol once again to try to crack this nut, sponsored by Senator Roberts. It would expand the areas where truckers have to have chains. Also seeks to figure out ways to educate those out-of-state drivers, which is really key because, as Dylan Roberts said, it seems to be a lot of people from out of state coming into the state of Colorado just simply not aware of those rules. That bill's going to hit the Senate floor as soon as next week.
And Chris, of course, the idea with any law is to get people to do what society wants them to do when nobody is watching. The other way to do it is to physically check every vehicle going onto the highway, like chain checkpoints. But that would be enormously intensive for manpower on days when CSP and CDOT are stretched thin anyway.
You can't do it on days where there's snow, but certainly CDOT has been doing that. State Patrol's been doing that. They say they've issued 800 citations just at the check-in points at the state lines since September. So they've been doing it. But really, there's a lot of truckers that go on the roads, and certainly a lot of truckers have been getting through without those chains.
Really is the question of the day. Chris Van Der Veen, appreciate you looking into it.
You bet.
All right, here's our next question for anybody thinking of heading to the mountains to grab some fresh powder, or for maybe truckers mapping out their next route. The Ferris family wrote in asking what the penalties are for folks who don't follow CDOT's traction and chain laws.
So it varies. If truckers are simply not carrying chains when they're supposed to have them in the truck, that's $50. If truckers don't chain up when they're supposed to be chained up in bad weather, that's $600. If truckers then block the road, up to $1,000 plus fees. Now, the penalties are lower for passenger vehicles, but all of us were added to that state traction law in 2019. If there is a vehicle that goes up there unprepared when passenger traction laws are in effect and blocks the road, we could be fined up to about $650. The cancellation board out at DIA sure looked scary, but once you got there, pretty peaceful today, and barely any snow fell at the airport. That doesn't mean, however, that people could get to their final destinations. The airport braced for issues with this storm, and they really weren't on the airport's property. I mean, hardly any snow there, although plenty of people had trouble getting to the airport. DIA is reporting nearly 300 delays today, more than 800 preemptive cancellations throughout the day. Our Jaleesa Arizari did that whole planes, trains, and automobiles thing today. You got a little bit of everything to get a sampler of what people are facing as they try to get out of town.
Kyle, we sure did, and we made it to the airport. That's a good sign, right? As you can see, like you just mentioned, tarmacs are looking pretty clear right now, and we're seeing planes take off, so that's a good sign, right? But the whole thing about traveling and headed out to the airport, I mean, it doesn't start at the airport, it starts getting to the airport. So we decided to test that out today. Like a shovel to a pile of snow. A Denver travel day tends to come with the mile-high headache. That's usually the case, right?
No, not really.
I haven't had any problems with the train. Today's actually been an extremely easy day, so it's quite nice.
The A line on a wintry Thursday morning was an A-. They got to DIA just 5 minutes behind schedule. A drive from Union Station to the airport took about 30 minutes. And when anyone gets here, all they really want to know is,
Where's all the snow?
I know. Can you believe that these people are wusses?
the snow was light this morning, but the travel stories weren't.
I'm a happy camper.
Frustration. A lot of frustration. It looks like we're still on the schedule to board on time.
And I have no clue when I'm gonna get to my final destination. The flight was wonderful.
So do you think I'm going to be stuck out here more?
A question hard to answer when the tarmac looks clear,
There's nothing on the ground.
but the forecast doesn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to leave.
Now we are at the A terminal and things have been moving slowly, but moving. So that's always a good sign here. We're seeing a lot of people come in and out. Flights are arriving, people are leaving. We love to see it. It's good for the people who have been stuck here since midnight. There's a few people out here who were supposed to fly out at 12:15 this morning. Their flight has been delayed till 9:30 tonight, Kyle. So light your prayer candles for them if they get out of the EIA.
Hey, if people are lighting candles, are we still lighting one for you? Are you trying to fly out at midnight still?
I'm trying to fly out at midnight. My flight gets out at 12:15 a.m. today. I am hoping to be on a beach tomorrow. So here's to hoping.
No. You have all these next viewers all across the state manifesting this for you. You have worked so hard today. We are going to make this happen for Jaleesa. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, snow bust at the airport is great for travelers, but it's likely to skew, Chris Bianchi, how we remember this storm, because, of course, Denver's weather totals are recorded out there halfway to Kansas at the airport, so people are going to call up this day in the Google machine, and they're going to see 1 inch of snow.
Exactly. That's what is going to be wild about this storm. The official climate record, that's a story for a different day, by the way, is held officially at Denver International Airport. In fact, we've documented that several times about why it's at the airport. It's basically a lot of red tape from the Weather Service. But the important part of it is that there was a huge gap in snowfall totals between the airport and downtown. Look at this. Officially at the airport, as of noon, 1.1 inches worth of snowfall. Downtown, give or take about 10 inches for us, and we're going to add a couple more before all is said and done. So what happened? You've never heard, many of you have probably not heard of a barrier jet, but here is the explanation. Basically, this barrier jet, it is a narrow ribbon of really strong winds that kind of set up right over Pena Boulevard. I'm not kidding about this, by the way. So this is what led to all the snow, right? Upslope flow, you've heard about that before, most likely. Moist northeast wind, backs against the mountains, you get snow, right? But then what happens when you get that wind backing against the mountains, it has to go somewhere. That wind can't go up, can't really go down all that much, so it has to go parallel to the mountains. And that kind of sets up, kind of think of a little chute sort of thing. It sets up a little kind of funnel of strong winds, and that's set up literally over Pena Boulevard. So if you were at Pena Boulevard this morning, you were driving up to the airport, you would have noticed probably about 3-4 inches of snow at the beginning of Pena, at Pena and kind of Pena and I-70. At the airport, you would have noticed zero. Big old goose egg, all thanks to that barrier jet.
That's wild. And now we know exactly what happened. Chris Bianchi, thank you. All right, so let me ask you. When did you know that this storm was going to be real? I knew when I saw your supermarket pictures.
It's bananas. It's literally bananas. The best measure of a big snowstorm striking. Coloradans peel off bunches when you'd think people would grab bread and milk. From the city out to the Southlands, Highlands Ranch to Centennial, even in Evergreen and even the fancy organic ones. But not the plantains, at least not in Edgewater. The banana boxes themselves were a hot item in Arvada. And what's going on here in Castle Rock? Do y'all really peel the stickers off the organic so that you can save 20 cents at the register? That's shady. Not as shady as Joey saying, make me an offer, but still shady. In a land where bananas are in demand. Everywhere, it seems, except Colorado Springs. They're fully stocked in the Springs. Don't y'all rush down there at once.
I don't know what it is about the Springs. Colorado zigs, Springs zags. You know Steve Stager, one of the all-time great guys who has spent his day serving others in the suburbs. We'll check in with Steve on your sidewalk next. Ah, man, poor I-70 just cannot stay open. We have a new closure to tell you about. I-70 eastbound is closed at Genesee Park, which means that some of the people who are stuck in Silverthorne are now stuck on the interstate again, trying to come back down to Denver. That includes our crew that had to stay in Silverthorne last night. When the highway closed down, they rode out the closure through this afternoon. They got partway home, and now they're waiting again. I have not heard a single complaint about the city of Denver's snow response, which is impressive because, let's face it, we live in complainy times. City rolled out everything they have, 54 big plows on the main streets, side streets, getting hit by those baby plows, the pickup trucks with the equipment on them. But there's somebody else who's looking out for the burbs. Steve on your sidewalk. A one-man cleanup crew in Centennial today. And this is not for show. This is not something he's just doing for next. Steve has been out there all day long doing whatever people needed done. Cleaning up trees and cars and sidewalks and driveways. You took a 15-minute break to sled with some kids and you're back at it. Dude, that's heavy snow. You must be physically exhausted.
I am running out of juice, let's put it that way. But it was a two-man cleanup crew because Tom Cole, I got him into some situations, and Tommy and I both had to do a lot of shoveling today, and kudos to Tom. Thank you for everything you've done. We're back here at the Hacienda, the Casa del Steger, and this is what I found. So you've seen me banging all these trees around town, trying to get as much snow as you can off of the limbs. This is the reason why you want to do that, because this sucker fell this morning right as I was leaving and hit, it didn't hit the house. It hit the bushes in front of the house. That's how close it was. So I'm going to have some sawing to do a little bit later on. But, it's deep snow. This is a lot of what I shoveled off the driveway earlier. But look at what that's done, because look at how much snow is still left on the driveway. But just if you get a chance, take the stick, take the hockey stick, a broom, whatever you got. Somebody told me they've got that 100-foot pole that you can extend out and try to work with that. I think I have one in the garage. I don't know where it is, so I've been working with a stick all day. But I'll tell you what, you are right. This has been exhausting. So let's just call it quits, huh? I got to tell you, many wonderful neighbors provided some beverages. I feel like it's just time. Head on inside.
Yes.
Say hi to Elliot.
Yes.
Say hi to Elliot, everybody. Elliot's good. Sit down. Oh, take the gloves off. Peel the banana.
Get some potassium, baby. Get some potassium.
You gotta have a banana. You gotta have a little banana. Crack it open. And then this is the part where you guys cut away. Right?
Yeah, we can't show the next part. We're not allowed to do that. But you have earned the next part.
You know what? Hold on.
More than just about anybody. You got another one for Tom? You better get Tommy a beer, too.
No, I was going to say, I'm heading out. I'm making sure that garage door is closed so no kitties escape. But here we are.
Steve,
the never-ending chores.
You have had a great day, and for folks who have followed your journeys around the suburbs today, helping out people, this is going to sound corny to say, but both of us are corny people. Days like this are nice for the fact that you can be of service to other people.
Yeah, so many people have said thank you. And, I feel like on these days we so often get so caught up in the I'm going to go stand on the side of the road and tell you about all the things that you aren't supposed to see. And I kind of was like, at this point, why don't we just go and shovel some people's driveways? People who need help. I mean, it's a foot of snow. Why not? Let's just pitch in. And seeing so many other people throughout our travels who were doing exactly the same thing, going door to door, it was so nice.
Good work today. You enjoy that beer. Thank you, Steve.
Cheers.
Meanwhile, for those of us still on the clock, Kathy Sabin and I, sober as gophers, are looking at the second round of snow, which we are in the midst of now, Kathy.
We are. And Kyle, tell Steve that a lot of people are emailing me that they want his help with their Wi-Fi. So if you could pass that message along, my inbox is full for Steve. We do have additional snow showers moving into the metro area tonight. So if you have a lull in the action, we're not done yet. We are going to see the snow continue overnight, so that winter storm warning remains in effect through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. An additional 3 to 6 inches of snow possible right here in Denver, even though the snow ends early Friday. It's going to take a while to dig out, and you really can't even see anywhere around Denver right now. That cloud ceiling is very low. Sloppy, wet snow that that will be freezing tonight when temperatures drop into the 20s and numerous road closures, including areas of I-70. So do call ahead, plan ahead if you have to be out. And you've all been so creative about measuring the snow. This is up in Gilpin County, where the snow is over 40 inches deep. That's right, 45 inches deep in Aspen Springs and Gilpin County. Conifer, 36-inch snowfall there, 31 in Genesee, Pine Cliff, 33, Evergreen coming in at 27 inches. And you know what? Sometimes it's fun to take the pets out when you're trying to measure the snow and figure out what's happening. Highlands Ranch, I had a report say that we had 2 feet of snow out there, and I said, can you measure it and show me? And there you go, Kate Drago, with the help of a cute little doggy, showing me how deep the snow is in Highlands Ranch. Parker with 14 inches, 17 in Castle Rock. Golden at 16, 13 in Littleton. DIA only an inch. We'll get into that a little bit later. But the snow amounts, we're going to continue to add to those numbers, and we'll continue to show you those numbers throughout the evening. 38 was our high temperature today. DIA coming in cloudy with snow showers and 33 degrees. This system is spinning over the Four Corners area, just pumping a lot of water into Colorado. Heavy snow expected off and on through the wee hours of the morning. Yes, additional accumulation is likely on top of a layer of ice. So this winter storm warning in red is where we expect additional accumulation, up to 6 additional inches in Denver, up to another foot in the foothill areas. This system isn't going to go anywhere anytime quick. And so even though we're going to get a break from the snow over northern Colorado, the snow continues down to the south, and we'll see additional snowfall in those southern mountains. Now, it's going to be great for skiing and riding. Oh my goodness, it's going to be terrific, with another 4 to 8 inches possible over the southern half of the state in the next 12 hours. For Denver, the snow continues until about 5 a.m. Drier air working in from the north. If we're lucky, a little bit of sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but not before we see additional light accumulation in that 3 to 6 inch range here, and over a foot possible in the foothills. Going to be cold tonight at 25 for Denver. All that sloppy slush is going to freeze. Temperatures tomorrow in the 40s, and we're hoping for a little bit of melting there. But remember, winter storm warning continues for heavy snow overnight. Temperatures aren't going to move a whole lot until tomorrow. I think if we can get to 40, we'll get some melting in the afternoon, maybe. And then you've got a beautiful weekend to look forward to with Saturday and Sunday sunshine and highs in the upper 40s.
Thank you, Kathy. When this hour-long edition of Next returns, our group project is a community to help Colorado's all-volunteer search and rescue teams who are out in all kinds of weather. This is going to be an especially sloppy St. Patrick's Day weekend. Slushy stuff after this storm. But I mean, let's set aside the snow totals, because it's the water in the storm that is the potential record breaker here. I want to talk to meteorologist Chris Bianchi again on this. Chris, one of the wettest starts of the year on record, at least in Denver.
No doubt about that. And by the way, I think we have weather 9 behind me. I think we need weather 8 for this. And this is going to kind of get into a bit more about the water that specifically fell within the storm. That's, Kyle, the truly standout feature within this. And so for us at Centennial Airport, we picked up about 2 3/4 inches worth of precipitation from the storm. That might not seem like a whole lot here, folks. Folks, that is more liquid than what we averaged in the months of May and June combined in Centennial. So this is just a stunning amount of water for us. Even at Buckley Space Force Base, look at that, 1.44 inches worth of water. DIA, 1.25 inches. Erie, over an inch. And that is not common for us to get those kinds of totals out of a system like this. This is very, very unusual for us to be getting that kind of rainfall in this short of a time span. And that's going to lead to some of those big issues in terms of, again, some of that melting. That's going to lead to some of that kind of sloppy, big puddles and kind of that gloppy nature to that snow. But I think overall, what we're going to take away from this much water, this is really, really good news for us as we head through the next couple of weeks. And by the way, at the Centennial Airport, a little bit more context for this. Our wettest storm in March is on record for us. Now, records only go back to 1998 there, but that's still pretty impressive for us.
Chris Bianchi, thank you very much. So as the foothills and parts of the Front Range deal with the largest snowstorm we've seen in years, the volunteer search and rescue teams that work in those counties are all prepared to get called out if people end up stuck in hard-to-reach places. That's the work that they sign up to do on a volunteer basis every week of the year, and they often have to spend their own money and gear for training. In the past 24 hours, your latest Word of Thanks microgiving campaign has raised $38,000 and counting to pay for search and rescue equipment and training. Like in Lake County, outside Leadville, that team needs a new snowmobile for their work. In Huerfano County, down south, their volunteers provide most of their own gear, and they told me that they need safer helmets for climbing rescues. Larimer County's team could use help with medical training for its folks. Park County Search and Rescue is trying to buy a new off-road vehicle for rescues, and they're awful close to getting the amount that they need. So a lot of these needs with these county teams, they're all nonprofit, are like a few $1,000s in this county, a few $1,000s in that county. We didn't want to just dump all of your generosity on one county. So what's going to happen is their umbrella group, the Colorado Search and Rescue Association, a nonprofit, is going to take the dollars we raise and do microgrants for training and equipment to the various county teams based on their needs. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to get that link to join me in donating. We're back here with one of the most joyful ways to spend what could have been kind of a frustrating day. Now. Not everyone is a fan of the snow. I hear you on that. If that's you, I hope that you've got a kid or a dog in your life, because they will always bring out the joy in a day like today. Our Kelly Rinke got the best assignment in the business, which was just go out and find joy somewhere, and she found it running on all fours in Denver.
Yeah, Kyle, pull my leg. Go to a dog park on a snow day for a work assignment. I'll take it. Hey, one of the most delightful things to watch is truly a dog running in almost a foot of snow. So why not dedicate a minute of our newscast to this wonderful video? Hey, and
come out here, he'll just go back and forth until he exhausts himself. This is Louie, and his birthday is this weekend. He'll be 3.
He's part husky, so he loves the snow.
We just moved to Denver 6 months ago, and so she didn't see snow until we moved here, and she is obsessed.
That's Beyonce. She's the queen.
So when we get big snows like this, I measure it and how many corgis deep is it?
I have 2, yeah. So Rue and Moose. She loves the ball too.
His name is Merrill. It's the snow. It's his favorite time. I can't get him to come in.
So I am a dog mom of a mini golden doodle, and pro tip here, Kyle, have you ever seen those snowballs that really pile up on the legs of a dog?
Yeah, like they dot all over dogs with certain kind of hair.
It's a mess. If you use a kitchen whisk and just rub it up and down the leg, it is the best thing to get those snowballs off.
Kelly Rinke, changing lives on television today. It's good stuff. Thank you for that 1 minute of Zen. Appreciate it, Kelly. So, our Corey Reppenhagen has been reporting from feet-deep snow since early this morning. But I can think of one thing he hasn't done yet. It's a tradition around here, and it's next. We have asked a lot of our teams out in the snow today. They've spent hours battling traffic delays, wading through feet of snow at times, with the goal of showing you the storm, right? And hopefully keeping people from going out on their own to satisfy their curiosity and creating a safety risk. But I have one more big favor to ask of one man, and it's Corey Reppenhagen. Sir, I know that you have worked, 24 of the last 36 hours, and you're also at the snowiest spot in Colorado. But you are contractually obligated to give Next viewers their weather haiku for the day, so if your brain is not fried, do you have something for us?
I think I got something in mind that you might like. Yeah, I got something.
All right. This is Corey Reppenhagen on very little sleep and way too much work. But roll it, folks. Let's go.
Corey Reppenhagen is on the Weather Beat.
Pi Day, the sequel. 3-foot bomb for the foothills. March comes through again.
Does not miss. The man does not miss. That could be your finest work today, and there's been a bunch. Thank you, my friend. Hey, we'll have an update on that I-70 closure. It's an eastbound closure now, and we'll end this extended hour-long next the way that we always do. There's a ton of your feedback. Man, I-70 can't catch a break, so we've got a newer closure here within the last 30 minutes. This is I-70 eastbound at Genesee Park, meaning people coming from Silverthorne down to the metro area are stuck again. There's been a crash there eastbound. And our crew that was in the area trying to get home spotted what's going on. You've got the first responders out there trying to clear things out of the way. The hope was to get I-70 open at least to passenger vehicles with no commercial traffic allowed until noon tomorrow. Here's the deal. After 15 straight hours of weather coverage here on air, we're going to take a quick little breather. The storm, of course, is not done yet, so neither are we. I will see you back here tonight at 9 and 10 for more coverage. We'll have extended coverage again tomorrow morning, which means that the Today Show will be airing tomorrow on Channel 20, as it did today. Kathy Sabin's in for the duration as well. Kathy, how do you see this playing out over the next couple of hours?
Kyle, we've got another 9 or 10 hours to go before this weather event is officially over, or at least winding down. We remain under a winter storm warning through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the roads, which the plows have done such a great job on, which have been so wet and slushy, are going to freeze tonight, with additional accumulation likely on top of the 9 to 10 inches we've already seen in Denver and the 3 to 4 feet in the foothills. So that winter storm warning remains in effect. Another 3 to 6 inches likely here in the city, but the foothills could pick up another foot before we start to see that drier air working in from north to south tomorrow. And on Friday, I think it's possible we'll actually get a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon, but not a lot of melting. These are additional forecast accumulations on top of the amounts that you've already seen and that you've already shoveled. Temperatures are not moving a whole lot. It's not a super cold storm. And I think if we get to 40 and see the sunshine, it's going to feel amazing. Time to dig out over the weekend with sunshine and 40s, and then look at the stretch of warm days. We're back to sunshine and 60s early next week.
Kathy, thank you. Oh my goodness, the feedback tonight. John up in Snowmass Village, thanks for the informative and humorous news coverage. Why can't it be both, right? DJ and Jay both wrote in asking for an hour-long next every night. No. A text, amazing you can function so well on decaf. There are days that I wish that I was still on the full strength stuff. Uncle Kyle, nice to see the comfy sweater and the fire. Some great kudos around town. Nancy wants to shout out the Excel crews. She said she lost power, appreciates their work. Amy wants to shout out the delivery grocery people. Are you kidding me? See you at 9 and 10.